ISSOC committee meeting. And Sarah, would you like to do a roll call?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I do want to say before I start the roll call that we are using the hard mics this evening, so they're not broadcasting in this room, but it is working for the online audio, so there's no issue there. But if you guys could speak up so everybody could hear, I've encouraged the district staff to sit closer to just in case. So we'll start with the roll call. Mr. Frederick Atkins.
Here.
Mrs. Greta Campbell.
Here.
Mrs. Bobby D'Alessandro.
Here.
Mr. Fred Elliott.
Here.
Mr. Joel Mazurkowicz has an excused absence. Mr. Joseph Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Harlan Parrish is attending virtually. Is he with us? Okay, thank you. Mr. Richard Peacock. Okay, he did say he was 50-50, so he must not be here. Mr. Matthew Ropesdorf has an excused absence. Mr. Jay Santos. Not here, okay. Mrs. Sia Sherman.
Here.
Mr. Steve Shimp has an excused absence. Mr. Chris Semino.
Here.
Mr. John Shannon has an excused absence, and then we have Mrs. Jada Langford Fleming. Awesome. Okay.
All right.
It's all yours, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Did everyone get a chance to see the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Chris, did you get it? There have been a motion and second to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any questions? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same. Ayes have it. Do we have any public comments? No publics. No public is here. So okay. I'd like to remind the members who are coming up for that their term is expiring, that we need to, you need to, because she just told me I'm good to December the 26th. But you need to go online and apply, fill out your application by November the 15th. And Nessa, you like for them to email you too? You know, if you're planning on renewing your term. And I think it's Greta, Harlan, Jose, John, Sia, Stephen, and Chris.
Oh, not me.
You must be good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
We're in year two, though, but we're in year two.
And that's all that I have as far as from the chair. Do we have any comments from the board liaison?
I don't know if these
It's
were.
on.
Okay. I know, she talked about projection. I usually don't have any problem projecting my voice. Some of the updates are September 5th, we approved a new budget. So I would, for the members of the public and anybody here, I would go back and watch that particular meeting because we talked a lot about our capital plan, about the future of the Lee County School District, the exponential growth that we're having here in the district. A couple new high schools on the horizon. And that's something I hear a lot about when I'm actually out in the public. Lot of growth out east. I'm sure that's not a surprising factor to most of you, and in our Northwest Cape area. And that's all I can really think of right now. But I would encourage any of you, if you did not get to watch our latest capital plan, I'm not sure the date of that, and I'm happy to have staff email any of you to let you know the date so you can get to it quickly.
That'd
But
be great.
the board notes, or the part of that workshop would be, I think, beneficial for you all to know.
It was at a workshop rather than a board meeting.
It was a workshop.
Okay.
Pardon me, it was a workshop, I'm sorry. But I do look forward to hearing about your comments and the direction of what you think the board may or may not take. And those of you that are going to reapply, I encourage you to do so. And those of you that are not reapplying, I encourage you to find someone that would love to do so, because this is such a benefit to our district to have people like yourself here volunteering your time this evening. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda, review of the sales tax fund project. And I understand Frederick is not here, but Scott is going to step in.
Good evening, ISSOC board members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Director of Construction. We've broken up our presentation into 3 segments: design phase, construction phase, and also closeout phase, with everything that we're currently doing and paying for with the tax dollars. The first sheet you can see, we have 3 HVAC projects under design in the district using ISSOC money. Cypress Lake High School, brand new CEP. The arts building and the high school in there getting a full HVAC renovation. That's in the design phase. Edgewood Elementary, a small HVAC design program for that school. Spring Creek Elementary, a small HVAC design program in that school as well. We also are doing a sewer rehabilitation out at Pine Island Elementary School. That design's $203,000. Alva School, we're doing a traffic improvement. This is where we're adjusting to get cars, there's a safety issue, off of the streets and create that stacking and safe environment within the campus. Harns Marsh Elementary and Middle School, we're doing a combination traffic improvement to help aid both of those schools and get the traffic off of those streets, help the teachers actually get to class on time because they're stuck in the lines and they can't get to their classrooms. And Trafalgar Elementary and Middle School, we are just beginning a traffic study on there to try and get some of the congestion off of Southwest 20th and Surfside Boulevard. So that's what we currently have in the design and the associated values that are being funded by ISSOC, or tax revenue.
Those are just the design cost of $500,000 for an HVAC?
That is correct. Yeah, it's just not one air conditioning, it's a whole fan units within the school.
But it's the design, not,
It's just the design
not the
only.
actual unit.
That's why it's on the design slide, design only, correct. The next slide is the construction phase. Construction phase, we are doing Veterans, if you are familiar with Veterans Park, there's actually 3 projects in one on that whole campus site. We have a rehabilitation and VPAA, Veterans Park Academy for the Arts proper. The really newly named Lemuel Teal Middle School, which used to be the old
Lemuel.
Lemuel.
Everybody
Sorry about
mispronounces
that.
it. It's Lemuel.
And also, we're creating a new black box arts theater that will be shared by both campuses on that site. So you can see the first one at $14.9 million is the actual new black box theater, brand new construction. I'm going to screw it up, I'm sorry. Lemuel Teal Middle School?
Lemuel.
Lemuel Teal Middle School. An $8.2 million renovation inside of there. It was the items that we couldn't get when we recommissioned that school, so we're putting new windows in, a new roof's going on, and we're going to reseal and do work on the outside for the brick to seal off the moisture. The next item up is Veterans Park Academy of the Arts. This is going through and doing a campus renovation, not a full-blown renovation, but an upgrade and renovation. Light fixtures, HVAC fans inside, plumbing, restroom renovations throughout, group restrooms. Riverdale High School, you're well aware of that. That's a $108 million total campus renovation. We just successfully opened up the new science wing, new science building, and we're currently building the new gymnasium to support that. And we're also in this phase working on the inside, staging our work throughout the active school day, putting them in the portables, completing an area, bringing them back in, next area goes into the portables and so forth, and that will be completed for August of 2025. And last but not least, we're putting a new roof with the tax dollars on South Fort Myers High School. Schools that are currently have used tax dollars that are being closed out. Manasseh Elementary is in audit. Franklin Parks Elementary, right now you're paying your FY25 debt service out of there. They're preparing documents to be submitted for the auditor to start the review on that project. Lehigh Acres Middle, this was in addition to that. Again, that's in audit, and the debt service for FY25 was utilized there. Fort Myers Technical College, that was almost an $18 million renovation of the technical program for that campus. That's in audit as well. Gulf Middle School, we did an entire internal school HVAC fan and chill water piping throughout the inside of the school. That is in the audit process. Orangewood Elementary, we did an HVAC renovation in that school as well, fans, interior chill water piping, ductwork. That is in audit phase. The Alva School, right now, we're doing another sewer and plumbing renovation throughout that campus as well.
Now, you said Fort Myers Tech, you said it was 19, but is it 17 here?
Well, I said 18, but it's 17.995,
Oh, you said
so I
18.
just said 18 million
Oh,
around it.
okay, all right.
I can speak to-
I didn't hear you, I thought it said 19.
No problem. The next one up is the Alva School I just spoke to, a sewer and plumbing renovation at that campus. And we're preparing the documents right now for the go to the auditor, submitted to the auditor for review. And Gateway Elementary traffic improvement, we just completed that for the start of this school year, and we're preparing all the closeout documents to go to the auditor for that project as well. And all the associated dollar values in the right-hand column. Any questions?
I just wanted to confirm, because I believe we asked this, and you have to forgive me because I wasn't at the June meeting, but I believe we'd asked this in March, just to clarify that all of these dollars are coming out of the ISSOC funds, or is this a combination of the two pools of money?
My understanding is that this is the dollar values that have been expended from the tax revenue side of the house for these projects only.
Great.
So there is no capital project
Perfect.
dollars being mentioned.
Thank you.
Am I correct?
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Have a
Scott.
nice evening, everybody.
Next on the agenda is the budget review, collection, and projections. Kelly?
We still have some of the project reviews going, so Mr. Patrick Way is
Oh,
going to come
okay.
up for technology, and then we'll
Oh,
have
okay.
Barbara Cedino for maintenance.
Good evening. How is everybody? Good. It's Patrick. I'm the Director of Technology Operations. We have a couple slides for you tonight to review some of our summer completions and our upcoming projects. So over the summertime, we completed 7 schools with security camera updates and whatnot. It's on the next slide. The 1 middle school and 6 other high schools. And that was all of our work for the summertime. About $571,000 all revenue tax dollars. The next slide gives you a better idea of our plans for the remainder of the year. We'll break this out as we go through. Right now, we kind of finish up all our summer deployments and start opening schools, so we don't have a lot of project things going on over these few months when we start up schools, but we start to continue on with these over the next months. This particular slide shows you approximately $3.5 million we have targeted in tax funds to update cameras throughout the district. It's also the servers and the cameras. Both of them are needing updates. The cameras themselves are faster, greater pixels, brighter, wider angles, and that kind of introduction into these schools. They were the first camera iterations that we had going out at the schools, so we need to fund to get those updated at all these schools. That was what some of the project stuff was for the summer. Yes?
So we're doing camera and server updates at Cypress Middle, even though we're going to be moving those students out and into portables and redoing the school.
Correct. Yep. So a lot of the infrastructure stuff is going to be put in place for those projects. Any of the stuff, technology that's wrapped up in construction is part of the construction summary. We don't really break out the IT stuff for you here, but all of the technology is wrapped into those projects as well.
So they won't be installing cameras,
Correct.
installing servers, then tearing that out.
That is
and
correct.
then They'll be putting it in for the new school.
Correct.
The infrastructure.
The infrastructure for the revised school.
Right.
When you do these servers and cameras, what's the depreciation schedule for that?
So generally speaking, our servers are on like a 5 to 7 year life cycle. A lot of the cameras and the technology used in the recording and needed for what they call evidentiary when they save the evidence, and you have to have it digitally signed by the servers. You can't really remove it and run it outside of the environment. Everything needs to be digitally signed and verified by the server to be known as true video and accurate. So all that stuff is tied to our milestone system. So yeah, all those things require update over about a 5 to 7 year clip, and then we maintain those. These systems, they don't let us do virtual type servers, which is a way that we have been able to save a lot of money over the years doing virtual servers and that kind of stuff. These particular systems still have a lot of specifics around evidentiary stuff and certifications, digital signatures, and running any of the films, so that you can't just take pictures of it. It has to be from the servers and the service.
So the point is the same as the laptops that we were talking about, buying millions and millions of dollars. This will all be obsolete after the sales tax expires after 10 years.
Correct.
So if it's to be replaced by the district when it's obsolete and there's no sales tax dollars, it'll be a massive hit.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, there'd be a lot of different things that definitely would need re-looking at, and a funding structure, and we wouldn't be able to do quite as much as we've been able to do with this referendum, that's for certain.
So as you think about that, is there a reason why you would use this money for that versus other capital funds and use the sales tax money for more longer-term projects?
I think we'd have to review that a little bit further to give you a more appropriate answer, but as far as I'm aware, as long as it falls into the category of security for the students and that topic, so to speak, it's appropriate to spend, and then everybody decides whether or not that's a priority to fund or not. And we can look at that. That's definitely the things that everybody tries to understand.
Perhaps you're not the right one to answer this, but if the sales tax expires at the end of the 10 years, and you went to borrow money in the future, would you be able to bond these types of things?
I don't think so. Yeah.
So you're going to have to move it into your capital budget today. You would not be able to borrow money, or you'd have to redo the sales tax.
Correct.
Correct, we would not borrow money on these particular types of projects.
Any other questions? Good?
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right.
Sorry I tried to overlook you.
You got it.
We have one more person.
Maintenance.
I think that might be Kelly, isn't it? Okay, Kelly.
Barbara. Barbara.
Let's see her name.
No, I meant the girls. Bring her glass.
Good evening. Sorry, I'm a bit short. So good evening. With me tonight, I'm Barbara Cedino, the Director for Maintenance Services. With me, I have Mr. Andrew Sass. He's our new Maintenance Coordinator. So today we have a few slides. We actually didn't bring because our previous coordinator had done like a closeout for the fiscal year. We actually wanted to focus this for this meeting on the new items that we're going to do moving forward. So with this year, so far, we have been able to. We have been able to focus on four different categories, actually 3 categories, which is our door replacements, flooring upgrades, and electrical upgrades. As you can see from the image that's here on the right, the Lehigh Senior High School is about 80% complete. That was actually the main switchgear that we were able to replace this summer. We were able to accelerate this project prior to school starting, so there was no disruption to the schools. The remaining part of the project actually encompasses electrical panel upgrades that we need to complete throughout the building in different areas. For our doors projects, we're going to be focusing on Tanglewood, and we're going to be focusing on Orange River. The reason for those replacements is going to be because the current exterior doors, they're made of either wood frame or hollow metal or aluminum. And what's happening is that because of the time, the age of those doors, they're actually, at that point, they've reached their life cycle. So as part of that replacement, I actually brought a sample. So we're actually going to go with an 1 and 5/16. This is what this glass looks like for our storefront doors. This actually has that low emissivity rating, which actually helps with the sunlight that actually comes into the space. With that rating, what that also does is, a lot of times when you have that direct sunlight on the carpets and things of the sort, that actually causes the fading of those particular things. The other thing is that this is actually impact glass. It's rated for the most current ratings. It's approximately 170 miles per hour for this particular reason. For this particular region. So this is actually a better product for us in the long run. And also the great thing about this is there's less maintenance. We don't have to worry about painting. Just have to worry about the cleaning and making sure it's good to go. Yeah. With this year, we're also going to be working some of the windows projects, so just to kind of give you a difference, this is how thin some of the windows are in comparison to this. So, way better product. Next slide, please. So here we actually wanted to show you how with the 4 projects we actually have ongoing, because of the majority of the schools that we have are in the elementary, so 2 projects means 50%, which lines up with how many elementary schools we actually have. So far, we're looking at $118,000 expenditures. Again, I know this is low, but we just got our budgets in September, first board meeting. So as we move forward, we're going to be accelerating. Right now, we are currently organizing meetings with engineers, contractors, in order for us to be able to align all of our work so we can move these projects forward. Next slide, please. This slide actually focuses on how many total projects we're going to be focused on in FY25. This year, aside from the regular capital projects, we're going to be focusing on 29 sales tax projects. These are going to be totaling somewhere about $64 million that we're going to be working on. Again, like I was saying earlier, it's going to be a variety of things like doors and hardware, electrical, fire alarm upgrades, fire sprinklers. With fire sprinklers, it's going to be more of either sprinkler heads or fire pumps or et cetera that needs to be done. With flooring, it's going to be, what we're trying to do is move away from carpet. We're trying to incorporate a lot more LVT. The reason for that is we're prone to hurricanes. When there's a flood in a classroom, the cleanup is a lot faster for us. So the LVT option is better. However, there are going to be some spaces that we still have to do the carpeting because to contain the noise like in music classrooms and those type of spaces like that. The other item that we're going to continue focusing on is HVAC improvements. Very critical for us in this hot tropical weather that we're in. So we're going to continue working on those. And then in addition to that, we also have our separate capital projects that we're going to be incorporating as well. So I think that's the end of our slide. Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. Chris.
So the sales tax is about 5 years along.
Yes.
I imagine when we started, the school district had an idea of how much deferred maintenance had been put off.
Okay.
And we've invested tens of millions of dollars in that maintenance.
Yes.
Where do you stand on deferred maintenance today in 25 versus where you were in 20?
So that's a great question. When we first started our sales tax back in March 2019, we had, I believe it was a surplus of over 800 projects that we started with, and that was in our original spreadsheet that was communicated to the public. Since we're halfway there, when we did our analysis last school year, we were actually about 50% of the way incomplete with our projects. One of the things that we keep a very tight eye on is when projects come in under budget, we try to maximize and move projects forward so we can continue moving that cycle forward. And as we're doing this process, what's great is that as schools feel that adding, maybe they thought that was going to be like 2 or 3 years later, we can now say, hey, we're able to accomplish a lot more because of the sales tax. So with those funds that we have been given, we have addressed everything that's related to HVAC, flooring, lighting upgrades, just such a variety of things. So it's helping us with our rotation plan and it's helping us streamline that process so that as we continue to move forward, we now have a better structure of trying to put things in alignment on what we call like our frequency rotation. So like, for instance, our painting schedules. Our painting schedules are typically about 8 years or 8 to 10 years for replacements. So now that we have the sales tax funds, we have been able to bring people back in alignment with all of the projects so that in the next 10 years, next 5 years that we have, we're still on schedule with everything we proposed that we were going to do. So pretty much to answer your question, we're about 50% there from the original calculations or estimations that we did.
Can you put a financial number on that? Or did you have $100 million in deferred maintenance and now you're down to 50 million, or is that?
I would have to, if it's okay, I would prefer to bring that at the next meeting because I don't have that information
Yeah,
with
it's
me.
a story, right? It's a story of the sales
Yes.
tax, number of projects, how much less
Absolutely.
we are behind.
Yes, but it definitely has made a significant, significant dent in the work that we had going on. And we're very grateful for the opportunity to be able to bring some of those projects forward.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris is getting ready for the next 10 years. Huh?
What's that?
I said, you getting prepared for the next 10 years?
You gotta start now.
Now it's my turn.
Okay, Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. So just going over real quick, the current total new revenue that we are estimating for the capital plan, full capital plan, is about $397.1 million. The sales tax dollars are 31% of that amount at $122,591,859. That's new revenue. When you look at the total sales tax budget, we're looking at about $283,072,668. When we're looking at that, that's split up into construction, about 43%. That includes the debt that we have in that. Our capital maintenance areas are 23%. Our technology is 10%. We currently have 20% sitting in reserve. It's in reserve right now. It'll be spread out as we go. We're waiting for the board approval. Even though we have the capital plan, the board has to approve like specific projects as we're moving forward, and we move it out as they approve it rather than in advance of. So that will be going down as we move forward. When you look at our collections, this is for 23 and 24, and you can see our collections have been pretty standard between the 2 years. So we're still showing the same, collections that we have. We had estimated that we would be increasing. We are not increasing at this point. We're staying pretty standard with where we were. So we're going to, of course, have to look at our revenue projections and make some updates in that as we're going forward. We definitely have slowed down. The June, the last year in June in 24 is, it jumps up.
Yeah.
That's because of the discretionary piece that we get in quarterly. It wasn't reflected in, or it was reflected in June instead of in the previous year. So on the next slide, when we're looking at our revenue collections, the ones on the far left is what we projected our collections to date would be, and then what they are. So we have actually collected more than we had originally thought that we would. But if you look at the 24, we are under where we had thought we would be at this point. So we are seeing some slow. And then in 25, we're seeing that same slowing down of that. And the next slide is just showing you the tracking month by month of the revenue and what it's been doing up and down, just kind of so you can see on a month to month what we projected for that month and what we actually came into on that month. And you can see where we've been going up and down. And this is as of a couple weeks ago. Any questions on any of that?
Do you talk to the Department of Revenue, and do you have an expectation for 25 and 26? Is it going to stay flat or grow? Or?
So when we do our projections, we do the Office of Economic Research. We look at what they're projecting out, and they're actually projecting it to to slow down like we're seeing right now. So,
Wouldn't those projections be better during the winter time or the winter months? And the actual?
well, let's see what's been
I
going.
was trying to let me see here.
Yeah, some of these show those quarterly payments. It really looks like it's in our summer we peak. And
In the
then,
summer?
yeah,
Wow.
and then we peak again, it looks like probably December and January kind of go up. So that's when we see our peaks in there. This summer, remember, you got people traveling.
Yeah,
and-
that's what I was.
And then
thinking.
the whole getting ready for school and buying stuff, so, yeah.
And remind me again what the lag is between the end of the month and the, like, is it a 3-month lag before all of the collections from the sales tax are kind of audited and you guys receive those funds, or is it a month, 3 months?
So we receive them on a monthly basis, but there's a lag time in when we receive them, right?
Right.
So, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that lag time is.
It is 2 months.
2 months, there we go, thank you.
2 months.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we get a quarterly discretionary piece that comes out
Got
as
it.
well. Kind of catches you up on what was put in on this in between times.
Which is why June spikes, got it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Anything else? Wonderful, thanks.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so I guess it's time for us to make a motion and vote.
Vote to receive the,
Yeah, to receive the reports.
I move that we receive the reports.
Are we going to do it separately or just together, all, to receive all the reports?
My motion would be to receive all of the
Okay,
reports.
okay.
I second.
I second.
Okay, been motion and second to receive all of the reports as reported. Any question? There being no question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same. Ayes have it. Boy, this is going too fast.
No, it isn't.
Someone said, not really.
Or you're doing a great job.
Okay, so we're at members' comment.
Do you need a separate motion to the financials versus the projects and programs, or did you merge them all?
That's why I was asking this, you wonder what we're doing.
Well, I thought what we received was budget, revenue collections, and projections. We haven't yet received the financial report, have we?
It's-
That was,
It's all included.
just-
Yep.
Was that
Yes.
included?
Yes, the financial
it was
report was
included.
in the
It was
packet.
included.
Okay,
each one.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So are we
I'm good.
are we on the same page? Are we doing them all together? Or
Do you have the motion you need?
do you have the motion?
Yes, I believe we're okay. If the motion was to accept all documents, that is fine.
Okay, okay. All right, so member comments? Chris,
No, sir.
no comment?
Is there any chance we could do something different in December? Like have it a Zoom, or, I don't want to totally put it off, but is there something, because I know people are traveling or a lot.
We do have, we can do the Zoom, don't we?
Yes, you can attend in person or virtual.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
If you would like to attend virtual next month, just let us know and we'll make sure we have a meeting set up for that.
Perfect. Thank you.
And that's the December meeting. Comment?
I just appreciate you all being here. I know this is after hours, and I just want to shout out to staff who've already left and gone home, except for a few of you, that thank you, because they're taking time away from their family to be here. So I'm always appreciative of that.
I attended the Franklin Park opening. It was magnificent. I am so proud of this school district for putting such a fine facility there, and I am sure the students and the staff will do great things because they've already started. So thank you so much for Franklin Park Elementary. My grandmother started teaching there when the school opened in 1957. Prior to that, she was teaching at Dunbar Elementary School. and then they transitioned some of the teachers to Franklin Park. And so I was just proud, and she has a brick there with her name on it. And
Oh, that's sweet.
And we will be opening up the Lee Health Clinic in Franklin Park.
yes,
Next
yes,
month, so-
yes. They have many partners, they call them.
Yes.
Yes. That is wonderful. That's wonderful for the community and particularly for the students at Franklin Park.
I'd like to echo that before we get to the bottom, because I had mentioned to them earlier that I thought that school was, it is beautiful.
Good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I had the pleasure of being on the editorial board for the News Press during the sales tax with the public. And they asked me to stay on an extra year and do a lot of interviews with the school. And I loved it because I got to go back into the school system, and I wrote many articles for the News Press and talked with Chris Patrica, Denise Garland. We all went out and talked to every organization we could talk to. And one of the things that I really was disappointed with is when I went to Riverdale, and being a former science teacher, the labs were abysmal. I mean, really, they were so outdated. And to see that science lab is up and running thrilled me. And I also think that what's being done with the sales tax dollars is pretty phenomenal and has allowed this district to really move forward. I think looking at the budget and seeing the implications for it in the future will tell us if they need a sales tax or not. But looking at what we've been able to accomplish, it's phenomenal. Makes me feel really good.
Thank you. I think you're right, and that is that we're halfway there with a half-cent sales tax. It's never too early to sell the next round. And I think we're able to tell stories. My mom's taught here in 1957, as we said, and now look at the school, and the labs at the Riverdale High School. Those are stories that can be told, and it's because of the tax. And I think that the district is using that appropriately the way the referendum was written. We're halfway there, but we're not all the way there with the half-cent sales tax. So I think we have to start the sale sooner than later.
See you.
Trying to finish what Mr. Elliott said. I would like to reiterate, because I do still have a student in the public school system, and to see what has happened at Riverdale between when my first son went through that school and what my son is now being able to experience now, it is utterly amazing. I know that there are a couple of things that the school could still really use. I mean, me personally would love more shade around the pool, but that's a personal issue because out there all the time. But, and I know that some of the staff that I've heard have mentioned, upgrading the bathrooms at the stadiums, but what they've been able to do to the school overall, that everyone is being able to touch, feel, and see, apart from student drop-off, which is a nightmare right now. That's to be given.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely, just going on a tour there and seeing the difference between 2 years ago and now is
Amazing.
absolutely phenomenal. And yes, my son actually has 3 classes in that new science wing, so
Love it.
it's pretty incredible. So yeah, I'm very proud of the accomplishments that this district has made in the improvement of the safety, security, and educational facilities that are available to our students is pretty outstanding.
And I think the sales tax is helping with all that, right?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You got Harlan online if you want.
We got some other line?
Yeah, Fred, just a comment I would have would be picking up on the topic of the stories that was mentioned earlier. Does staff have any updates? I know Chris, myself, several people have gone out and done several of the presentations to the community, whether it be Kiwanis clubs, Rotary clubs, the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools. Are there any others on the horizon?
At this time, we do not have any planned. It was mentioned at the June meeting. We haven't planned any more, so we are more than open to the conversation if anybody from this committee wants to volunteer to help us identify locations, volunteer to do the presentation. Of course, district staff attends those as well. So if you guys are open to that idea, we are also open and willing to schedule some dates.
Great, thank you.
I think that is something that we probably need to think about. Where do we need to take this, and everything. And maybe we all can think about that before the December meeting, and when we come back, and although I won't be chairing the committee meeting, Steve will, but, you know, we got some other ideas and places that we need to take the show, take the presentation to. Maybe
I'll just interject. We have some amazing chambers, not just right here in Fort Myers, but also Cape Coral, Bonita. So I would encourage you to reach out to any of those members, if you may know anybody, because I know that they're always willing to have guests speak and just to educate them on what the Lee County School District is doing.
Any other comments? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
All right.
Good job.
Good job.
You got to be careful. You might get them.